Hello, hello. It's Malcolm Saunders here from Cellar, helping you find and learn how to craft your own food and medicine. We have a very special guest with us, Rob Swain. Right on, Rob. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be
Cool.
here.
Yeah, well, it's so awesome to connect with you. We've been connected online and through many mutual connections, and myself being interested in wild foraging, becoming more self-sufficient. Potentially look into from future homesteading down in my path here. Looking to Rob as an individual that has done that, is that, and has many skills and talents that we're going to look into the world of somebody that moved from the deep inner city of Toronto and is now living the life in rural Alberta. He has survival skills and training. He's into bushcraft. He's into hunting. He's into homesteading. He's into foraging. And we're going to get, a window into what that is all about, what the life is like, what it takes to go from, being deep in the urban city to living out in the country. And most importantly, you're going to learn some tips, some tricks, some insights, things that you can apply already in your life. You don't need to move out of the city right away. And if that is your goal, then you're going to kind of see what it takes and what the path is to move that way. So, right on, Rob. Again, thank you for joining us. And let us know, a little bit about who you are, your history. I kind of shared some insight, but I'm sure there's a big story in that unfolding of who you are, or sorry, who you were, and to the life that you've come to live right now.
Well, thanks, Malcolm. Thanks for having me. My name's Rob Swain. I am now the founder of the Primal Hunting Co. We teach bushcraft, survival skills, and hunting tips and tricks. I'm not currently guiding just yet, but that should be in the future. That is my ultimate goal. Yeah, I'm a city boy from Toronto. Born and raised just outside of the GTA, well, in the GTA, just outside of Toronto. I lived in the Toronto area for about 23 years. Uh, got a position in Alberta. They moved me out to Edmonton and worked there for about 8 years. We kind of wanted to change the scenery. We moved out to the East Coast for 2 years, checked that out. Uh, Realized that we were yearning to come back to the mountains and we wanted to actually be really close. So we transferred back. We moved to Calgary for about a year, got our footing, and we started looking for land. In 2021, we moved out west of Sundre in a log house in the middle of absolutely nowhere, which Sarah and I, my wife, it was very new to us. My wife did grow up rural in Northern Ontario, but we did meet in the city and we lived the city life for about a decade or so. Yeah, we bought this log house. Predominantly wood heat. It is a newer home. We still have a furnace and all the other luxuries, but we have an outdoor wood boiler, which was a struggle to learn to begin with, and a ton of work to get started. But we've been utilizing that. It's been running basically all of our hot water in the house and our in-floor heating. And we also have a wood stove upstairs. So very different from our condo slash suburban lifestyle where we just go up and push a button and pick what temperature we want. But with the change, it's super rewarding. Um,
And what spurred it on, Rob? Like, what was the initial kind of like? Did you always dream of this lifestyle, or you mentioned a certain time period, 2021? Was there something going on in society where that really kind of pushed you over the edge, or what was your motivation there?
2020 was definitely the tipping point for us. Yeah, we just started to realize how confined our space was in the neighborhood with the lockdowns and everything. My wife and I always wanted to have an acreage, but we really didn't know what that looked like. But yeah, 2020 basically kicked us on the butt and got us moving on it. We basically wanted to create a self-sustaining lifestyle. so that we don't rely on anybody but ourselves and we get to enjoy the fruits of our labor. And it's been the most rewarding thing we've ever done.
Yeah, cool. And following along with both of you online, I know that you've actually even added animals to your lifestyle. So, what is that like, and what kind of animals do you have currently, and are you looking to get any more?
Yeah, 100%. So you'll laugh. We went to Uncle Wiener's in Calgary and we bought the absolutely terrible chicken coop. It was just, I put it together. I'm like, this is not what the pictures showed.
Oh
Um,
no.
and we picked up 5 hens and that's how we started. Now we're looking at, I think we have 56 chickens.
Wow.
One goose. We recently added 2 donkeys, uh, which has been an adventure all on its own. I had no idea how fun donkeys could be and how affectionate and intelligent they are.
Yeah.
We started off with a 7-month-old. Her name is Honey. And our neighbors actually had a donkey that they had to pen away from the pack. He got kicked out of the herd, so we've now welcomed Jack to our home. He's 3.5 years. Uh, Handling him has been a little bit difficult. So I've been building up trust with him, training him on the lead and in the halter, and he's coming around well. I just had him in the yard today. He was easy to catch, but yeah, it's been a big difference. We've always had dogs and a cat, but having livestock is a whole new adventure. Super rewarding. Um,
So I was telling my wife about your donkey, and she's like, "Why does anybody have a donkey? I mean, apart from, amusement and friendship and these kinds of things."
yeah, well, we have it for guardians. Because our,
Right.
our 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 dogs are also from the city, so they're adapting just as we are, but they don't understand. We had an incident where one of our dogs was pulled out by a coyote to another pack, and she was attacked. Luckily, I was able to save her, but it's little things like that. We're living in bear country. We have black bears, we have grizzlies, we have cougars, wolves, coyotes, different kinds of badgers, fishers, whatever, right? It's all here.
Yeah.
So, we were looking for more of a livestock guardian as well, and we know donkeys are excellent for that. And they're really good at alerting you, especially at 7 o'clock in the morning when they start braying. You got the roosters and now the donkeys going off. But that was the main focus on why we started with the donkeys. We also wanted to build a little bit of confidence with raising and taking care of equine. So my next future goal right now is to get a mule, and I'll be using that to ride and hunt on, and he's going to be helping me or she helping me pack out my animals from the woods. I do walk out my front door to go hunting. I don't drive anywhere. I walk right out the front door, and whatever I end up hunting, I have to take it home. And most of the time, you cannot get machines in there at all. I think the
Right.
elk that I downed, we had to cut over 40 deadfall trees just to get the side by side in there. So utilizing some sort of mule or horse will change the game for me, right? Because I predominantly hunt solo too, so not much to help, not much help for me. My wife will come out and put the high beams or a vehicle on it if we can get to it and help me in that regards. But most of the time I'm out there by myself for 12, 14 hours a day, especially
Wow.
during bow season. But yeah, so mule, maybe a riding horse for the wife, and then we're gonna start getting into cattle. Just for ourselves, we're not looking to sell. We're just trying to be a little more self-sufficient. My wife wants some milking, dairy cattle as well, but I'm still up in arms with that. Going out there at -40 twice a day is not my idea of fun, but
Oh, for sure. It is a massive commitment, isn't it? Yeah, you and I,
it
just before we, hit record, we're talking about, going on road trips. Say goodbye to that, Rob, if you get milk and cows.
Well, I know it's already difficult for us to leave as it is with the wood boiler and the livestock and the dogs. So we basically have to find a house sitter that has these skills. So it is difficult to do, but when we do get out of here, we like to go all out. And yeah, like I was telling you, we're doing a big road trip through a ton of states in the Midwest there down to Arizona. So we're really excited about that. I'm also looking to see uh, what my survival skills in the boreal forest will do in a desert.
Prob-
Completely different situation, but new
Yeah,
challenges for me.
yeah, no, totally. I bet you it's going to be more applicable than you realize, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
finding timber to burn might be a little more difficult, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm excited to for the challenge.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm noticing a little theme here as we're talking about going through our conversation. So, homesteading, that piece. Next, I'd like to get into hunting, and then we'll kind of maybe get into some of the ideas around survival skills, and maybe kind of a last kind of question on homesteading there. I mean, just it sounds like a fun adventure. It sounds like super rewarding. Some does sound like a lot of work. Are you building community out there? Have you met a lot of your neighbors and what's been the experience there from like you said, like okay, living in the city, feeling like you don't quite have enough space to okay now. I mean, you've got like tons of space, lots around you. What's your experience with community and neighbors and area you're in? What's that like?
It's unbelievable out in this part. Like, you think growing in a city, everybody's close, it'd be, more of a community. But when we first moved to Alberta, we moved into a cul-de-sac and you just see people drive home in the winter and then drive into their garage and then the door shuts. And you're like, hi, can we meet? No, but we moved out here. The community is absolutely amazing. We probably have the best neighbors you could ever ask for. They're always willing to help. They've lived this lifestyle a lot longer than my wife and I, so we do pick their brains and learn different skills from them. But yeah, we have a deal with them. We give them eggs whenever they want. We get meat birds from them when they do the slaughter in the fall. So there's lots of bartering to help each other out. Even in town, you go into town now, people recognize you. They say, "Hi, how are you?" It's a completely different way of community, especially being a guy from Toronto, where most people won't even look up from their phones to make eye contact with you. You move out here, everybody you knows your name. They're willing to help. It's been incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome. Love, love, love that. Cool. Well, let's get into the hunting aspect of it. This is something I've got, very kind of, minimal, limited experience. I've been out a few times, always with somebody that has that experience. I was not raised, in that culture, or my father never done it. He has no interest in it, so I certainly didn't learn from my family. And you meet people. Some people who were raised in that, because their dad or somebody in their family took them out. And then there's people like me going like, oh, that'd be pretty cool. And you get fortunate to go out with somebody. What was it for you? Or is this something that you're born and raised in? It came natural to you, or is this something that you're kind of more self-taught and got into later in life?
Yeah, no, nobody taught me how to hunt at all. I
Okay.
was actually talking to my dad. We were trying to figure out who in our family was the last hunter, and we couldn't figure that out.
Oh, no way.
So there is literally zero background in hunting for me. I picked it up and ran with it. I started hunting in 2021 when we moved here.
No way.
Yeah, I got my hunting license online. I've always been a firearm owner. I've always been proficient in firearms. I wanted to get a bow to increase my hunting season and my skill. So I've worked really hard on archery and I've become a pretty decent marksman with that as well. But yeah, nobody taught me anything. I'll tell you a funny story. It was November 1st, 2021. Uh, Left the house for my first hunt, all excited. It was like Christmas morning, had all my new gear all outside, airing out. Put it on, headed out. Bam, huge snowstorm. So I'm up in my tree stand, freezing half to death, covered in snow. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a lot of fun. ended up moving into the trees for a bit more shelter, and I had a herd of elk come by. And first day of hunting, I'd say probably 5 hours into the hunt, I had downed a bull elk,
No way.
750 pounds. So I'm standing there looking at it, I'm like, well, what do I do now? So yeah, sometimes when things are overwhelming and challenging, you just have to dive in. Um, Fortunately for me, I had a knack for it, just a natural skill for it, and I've put a lot of work in studying. I go out and stalk animals even outside of hunting season just to get skill on that. I won't obviously won't hunt them out of season, but just to get skill, see how close I can get to them, learn their patterns, tracking, droppings, food source, water source, bedding areas. And I'm fortunate enough to do that. Like I was telling you earlier, I have access to 1,600 acres from the front door, and I'm always out there playing. So, yeah, hunting has been super rewarding for me, and it's also allowed me to connect kind of to my wild side and be more involved in nature. Like people people think that hunters just like to go out and kill stuff. That's not true. It's about going out there, being in nature, being another animal in the wild, and then trying to support yourself and your family in that way. And it's been extremely rewarding. It's also nice to give thanks to nature once you harvest an animal. It is a solemn experience, but at the same time, you're getting probably the best meat you can get anywhere. It is as organic as it gets,
Oh,
and the
totally.
health benefits from it are unbelievable.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think anybody, from my world, living in the city, trying to working our way up the food chain, the food system to like what is the best, the highest quality, like certainly with plants, like nothing compares, to what is wild grown, like just right out of the most beautiful ecosystem. And you're 100% correct. Like when, animal foods are exactly the same. So yeah, well that's optimistic to hear, that you're I don't want to say late to the game, but like you weren't born and raised this way, self-taught, just getting out, getting into it. And real quick, what is kind of the pathway for that? You mentioned, you got your hunter ed, you'd always had your firearms license. One could do archery, but maybe for a lot of people, maybe rifle, that type of thing is a better starting place.
Yeah.
But just kind of a quick overview if somebody's like really curious how to kind of start down that path.
Uh, Find a mentor if you can. I wasn't fortunate enough to have one, but now I'm a mentor to several people. I've had a couple of my friends fly out here from Toronto, and I've taught them how to hunt, and they've been successful. So that's also another rewarding situation. If you're passionate about it, do it. Just get out there and do it. Work
Yeah,
on your marksmanship skills so that you know you're going to ethically be able to take that animal without causing it harm. Make sure you have those skills, but there's no better teacher than just getting out there and doing it. That's
yeah,
what I would recommend. Even if you're not successful, just keep going.
yeah.
I've been lucky enough to just have a natural ability for this, and I've been successful every single year hunting. We have three deep freezers in this house, and they're always full. And that's another rewarding thing, especially with the cost of groceries these days. Getting that clean, ethically sourced meat in your house for pennies on the dollar is unbelievable.
Yeah, no, totally. And we're so blessed the area that we live in. I mean, you talk about going down to the States, like the population density, like the population is way higher, the density is way higher, like the wild spaces. I mean, you mentioned 1,600 acres right out your front door. Like that is just phenomenal. That is just such a unique position to be in, in this day and age in 2025 as a human living on planet Earth. Like there's very few places. Canada is one of the few that we're just blessed to have those types of opportunities and big game that we have access to. So I know you've got the Primal Hunting Co. It's a membership site, but it's so much more. And I know that can be a great resource for somebody. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I I provide online course, and the online course is basically built and geared towards people with very minimal skills. So I provide 4 tips and a live Q&A per month, and just to get people rolling. Maybe they're not as comfortable to come out with me for 3 nights right off the hop. This is kind of to build your skills, get you in there, and then if you have the courage to go out into the wilderness with the Grizz, we'll build a shelter and I'll teach you how to live very comfortably out there. My membership is $29 per month. And yeah, I provide all different kinds of skills. You'll get 4 tips per month. And then if you have any questions on those skills during the live Q&A, we'll sit down, we'll chat about it, see if I can provide some clarity to stuff that isn't really working out, or if you're struggling in a certain area, like with fire lighting, we can sit down and I can teach you different techniques to get you there.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. So yeah, well, that brings us right into kind of the idea of bushcraft and survival skills. So you do teach classes, workshops. I know you mentioned you got like a 3-day event. You and I were going to be talking about some dates coming up where we're going to be going wild foraging and fire starting and cooking things in the field. That's exciting. Those of us that do go down this path, be it, homesteading, foraging, hunting, the bushcraft, the survival skills often end up working their way in. And you know what I always like to say, like number one, like it's just good to learn always, like just to kind of keep your brain on top of things, keep life interesting and keep enriching yourself, learning, learning, learning. With the bushcraft, with the survival skills, it's something that you hope you never ever actually have to use. But if you ever did, I mean, your life depends on it. You'll be so glad that you've got that foundation. And the other thing I think about is just like I feel it's actually a duty, like of you and I as humans to, hold and maintain these skills. Like how many, millions of people live in North America, right? Like, let's just forget the rest of the world, like North America, who don't know how to start a fire, right? Like, that's unbelievable. Like, that's foundation. I know, and we don't need to because we can just flick up a switch. We can just, like flick a bic, these kinds of things. But I think it's incumbent upon us as humans to like hold and maintain that knowledge, because of what if, and all the other reasons. So I love that you share this. Yeah, and I hope those that are watching kind of agree. It's like, okay, this is good skills to learn. This can be fun. This is a hobby. And it's that like in the most extreme, unlikely scenario, it's a little bit of an insurance, a backup plan.
100%. It's definitely tools in your back pocket. Like, I don't know if you read the story, New Year's this year, three hikers in Kananaskis. They got lost. They separated. One person stayed at, I guess, a location, a camp, and two ventured off for help. That person that was left behind actually froze to death.
Oh no.
So even if you're just a casual hiker, like things can happen, weather can change, you may have to hunker down. So just having these skills in your back pocket is going to give you the confidence when you're out there that if something bad happens, I have these tools, I know what to do, and we'll be fine. Just that alone is going to probably allow you to challenge yourself just a little bit more each time you go out, and
Yeah.
you won't have that fear.
Right, cool. And is there a hierarchy of skills? Let's say, they always talk about, the basic necessities and, what you need to think of first. Like, is fire starting one a great place to start, or, shelter building, or, just choose your own adventure as long as you kind of cover them off eventually within a certain amount of time. How do you lead people through gaining those skills? Is there a system or again, a choose your own adventure?
Yeah, I like to start off with basic important skills like fire lighting, because if you can light a fire, everything else after that is pretty much comfort. You can survive in -40 with just a fire and just being under a canopy of tree with maybe some spruce boughs. That's going to get you through the night. And the really cool thing about Canada is our kind of time frame for rescue is 72 hours. So if you can make it to 72 hours, you're most likely going to be found. So I like to start off with the fire lighting. Cooking is also an important skill as well. Uh, in a survival situation, don't even worry about food. You have enough storage in your body for probably 30, 35 days. It's going to be fire, water right off the hop, and shelter, depending on kind of the environment or weather situation you're in. And then different survival techniques and rescue techniques, how to get found, like building a signal fire, creating signals in an open field for aircraft to spot you, little stuff like that. But I do like to tier my lessons with fire lighting first because I think that is absolutely the most important thing, especially if you're in the mountains, hiking, mountaineering, all these different stuff. Fire is the core skill to learn. And if you have a little ferro rod on you, like you're good to go. And I'll even teach you how to make fires with just poplar. So if you're just in an area of the boreal forest where there's no spruce, that's no problem either. We'll teach you that too.
Yeah, amazing. Cool. Wow, this is great. And I'm sure folks listening are inspired by your journey, that once an urbanite, now a wild man,
Well, the
homesteading,
mountain man, yeah.
all the survival skills. And maybe just to finish, like I want to touch on this because I found it so fascinating. We were talking about, like our paths and what we each kind of are doing and then therefore offering in the world. And you made this really interesting comment because I had made one too of just like, a lot of the people who come to my classes who are a part of my community are women. And I did not expect you to say that you're the same.
Yeah, it's we were talking about, I said, if you look at my Instagram followers, I think I'm like 78% females. And that may be indicative to my wife's business, them coming over as well. But I do find that it is the mama bear in the household that is pushing this because, we have uncertain times these days. There's a bunch of geopolitical issues. Being self-sufficient and sustainable and keeping your family protected in a survival or even a dangerous situation, I find the women are now pushing the men to do that. So it is quite interesting to see. Most of my membership are females. And the people that come to my courses, they are female, but most of them are men that their wives have pushed to go and do this. So it is kind of interesting, but good on them because we have to start somewhere. And the skills that you and I teach, they're forgotten. They
Mhm.
don't teach these things anymore. And these skills got us to where we are today. And people
Yeah,
forget that.
yeah.
So we are animals. We are still primal. We just forgot how to be primal. So I think that's what my mission is. And I'm pretty sure with you, Malcolm, that you're in the same boat.
Yeah, totally. Cool. All right. Well, as mentioned, you and I were going to be hashing out some dates coming up for the summer 2025. And if you're listening to this even beyond that, stay tuned. Look at the calendar, see what is on offer to get people out into the field and learning some of these skills, combining their wild foraging, knowledge that they have with some of these primitive skills like fire building. So super stoked. Looking forward to that. For anybody right now, they're like, okay, I want to connect deeper with Rob. I want to follow this path, this mission. What is the best place for them to go to check more about your work and jump on the path with you?
Perfect. Yeah, you can find me at I am Rob Swain on Instagram. I did change my handle just to be kind of more of a single brand rather than just the Primal Hunting Co. because I do offer just more than just that. But yeah, you can go to my Instagram. I am Rob Swain, and on there you'll find a link for my membership as well. And any upcoming course dates, I also have a wait list for that. So if you're interested in joining me for 3 nights in the bush, you can put your name down on the wait list and you will receive that information before the general public. So it'll allow you to jump on it before anybody else and secure your spot. So that's where you guys can find me.
Cool. All right. That's sweet. Okay. Well, thanks for your time today, Rob. And yeah, we'll look forward to doing some events in person together. And hope you, the listener, the viewer, will be joining us. And please do share this out with your friends. This is essential, inspirational knowledge, wisdom. It's a path that so many of us are at different stages along the journey. So even if you are still deep in the urban environment, living in your condo, or maybe you're on the suburbs or an acreage and you're inching your way out, yes, this is the path to kind of reclaim, yeah, like a deeper aspect of our humanity and a reconnection to the earth. And as you say, the animals that we are and that primal part of ourselves is so fulfilling, so rewarding, so nourishing. And yeah, I look forward to my journey and getting a little bit closer to where you are, Rob, both geographically as well as situationally. Yeah, something to aspire to. And thanks for being here today and sharing your path and your wisdom.
Thanks, Malcolm. We appreciate it. I'm excited. It's going to be fun.
Cool, right on. Okay, well, bye for now.
Bye bye.